Hello, welcome to the Unicorn Podcast, where you can learn everything about Unicorn Tribe Toastmasters Club, a high-quality, high-functioning Toastmasters club from Richmond, BC, Canada, with members joining from all over the world. This is Sandy Chen, and I'm from the Unicorn Tribe Toastmaster Club. For those who are not familiar, Toastmasters is a nonprofit educational organization that teaches public speaking and leadership skills through a worldwide network of clubs, and the Unicorn Tribe is one of them. Have you ever thought about improving your public speaking skills, leadership skills, networking skills, and more? Then you will definitely benefit from Toastmasters, and Unicorn Tribe Toastmaster is your best place to start. Today, it is an honor to welcome one of the founders of Unicorn Tribe Toastmasters Club and the distinguished Toastmaster, Jenny Chen, to speak on our podcast. Jenny is an experienced forestry trader, and she has been a Toastmaster for 15 years. She is currently a member of 2 Toastmasters Club. Today, we will talk about her experience at Toastmaster Club and how Toastmasters Club changed her life. Are you ready? Let's welcome distinguished Toastmaster, Jenny Chen. Thank you. Hello, Jenny. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Sandy. Thank you for having me.
Thanks. Jenny, I would like to ask you, what attracted you to Toastmasters?
The reason that I joined Toastmasters was purely for social reason, or maybe I can better define as a self-defined settle down step as my decision formed to stay in Canada back long time ago. So I've decided to find a social circle of my own that I can feel a sense of belonging. And I define the social circle that I want to belong to with a few standards. And I launched a marketing plan for myself to find where those people are gathered. And I started with an evening class of Spanish, and that was too short to get to know people. And all the then social media seemed to only attract people who wanted to have a romantic relationship with me, which wasn't what I was looking for. So eventually I joined a salsa dancing class that lasted 1 year. Among all the friends I met in those classes, there was one Toastmaster. And that Toastmaster brought me into a Christmas party of their Toastmaster Club, which is Firebirds. Firebirds and Night Vision, my home club, belong to the same area. And in that party, I met a whole bunch of people that perfectly fit all the standards I set for my chosen social circle. People who want to keep improving themselves, people from all walks of lives, age group, gender, ethnic group, everything I wanted, a diverse group, they have it. So that night, the decision was formed. This is a community that I wanted to belong to. And I researched a couple of clubs and didn't end up with my friend with Firebirds because they meet on Saturday morning from 9 to 11, which was and still is too early for me.
Yeah.
So instead, I chose Night Vision, and the rest is history. And I stayed ever since 2006 in September. Yes.
Wow, that's a very exciting story. So after over 10 years of staying in Toastmaster, what are the benefits of being part of the Toastmasters Club?
First is still a sense of belonging. That Toastmaster widened my social circle because through work, there are only certain group of people that have similarities. What I need is a more diverse community that I can learn from people with all kinds of different background, all different thinking patterns, that could broaden my horizon and challenge me to break my comfort zone. The comfort zone isn't only limited by communication leadership, more of a way of thinking. It gives me a wider range of creativity, if I may also say, is I constantly get a chance to question myself. Whatever that I know as a norm might not be the norm, might not be the only answer. So that constantly put me into a open-minded situation.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, that might be the biggest benefit I really love about Toastmaster. In other communities, I think they more or less have some a clustered personality or type of people that is limited in a way. So Toastmaster, because of the shared communication and leadership subjects, they are quite general and broad, which allows all the rest of the elements to be diverse. So that's what I really benefit, I love about Toastmasters.
Yeah, I agree. And beside from the Toastmaster Club, what other aspect of your personal and professional life have been influenced by what you have learned in Toastmasters?
Oh, I would say quite significantly. Personal wise, as you may all know by now, I met my significant other in Toastmaster community by volunteering, by working along with my partner at the early time of my Toastmaster experience, volunteered at club contest, area contest, then division, district, formed a leisure working relationship and getting to know people in a very generic way. And not only my significant other, I've gained many good friends through that journey that I still am very close to. Professional life, I would say all my leadership skills were attributed to Toastmasters practice in leadership, being a club officer of all kinds of roles and being an area director and volunteered in organizing Toastmaster convention, not convention, the district conference, and different kinds of projects that forced me to think as a leader, act as a leader, work with different personalities, which all form a solid skill set that led to the current profession that I have, is actually changing from trader to manager or to leader seamlessly. Originally, as a trader, all I need to worry about is my own trades, my own transactions, my own suppliers and customers. I don't really need to manage people or work with people that are significantly different from me. But Toastmaster create a platform that expose me into this kind of situation. And through hands-on practice, success and failure, learning experience, share up success stories and lesson learned. And from each round of leadership practice I've had through Toastmaster, I actually learned different things, discovered my own strength and weakness, and also learned how to work with other people and use other people's strengths and compensate with their weakness, just to work together as a team.
Do you have a current example of applying the leadership skills you learned from Toastmaster to work environment?
I think the significant element that I benefit the most from Toastmaster and shifting to professional life is the servant leadership. Even though at work, I have carrots, I have sticks, but I don't intend to use them. It's the words that flash in my mind most is what the keywords happen in Toastmasters Club all the time is motivating, inspiring. How do I motivate my colleagues? How do I create a system that motivates them? How do I create a environment that inspires them to reach their own potential or exceed their own potential? That what the company can benefit becomes also their interest. And I also try to align the company's goals with individual growth of our employees. That has always been my compass in leadership, is the strengths coming from inside, from ourselves, are the strongest strength anyone can reach. And that does not need carrots or stick. If it becomes our own, we have a way to achieve those goals. So those are probably the most prominent elements that I gained from Toastmaster leadership training. It is the internalized motivation.
Yeah, I wish one day I can be like you in the future.
You are becoming one.
Thank you. Since you have been in Toastmasters for 15 years, what keeps you engaged?
I would say still the people that fits my original standard. It's still the same that motivates me and inspires me and stimulates my brain in a positive way. Is every now and then I'll listen to a speech that caught me in surprise of either how they're thinking and what their experiences were and what their upbringing brings them, and either it's from a trauma or from beautiful memories, all serve a purpose that reminds me either to be grateful of what I've already had, also to keep exploring opportunities that is out there, as well as helping people or share my growth experience so that they too could see what's laying ahead of them. So that is what brings me and keeps me in Toastmasters. Not only it's a self-improvement, continuous growth for myself, but also the inspiration and motivation to and a positive connection to the world through a small window.
Yeah, I agree. Because the reason why I asked this question is because I know most of you guys like you are really busy at work, and I know like some people will be away for many of our Toastmaster club because of their busy work. And even though you are really busy, you still keep going to your 2 clubs every Wednesday and Thursday. So that's what I really admire. And I always told myself that Jenny can do it. Why didn't I? So that's how I keep myself like going to Toastmaster club. I only absent when I am sick or I'm away for travel. And I also feel like going to the Toastmaster club is like it's really motivational, and then I can learn a lot of things from different people. Yeah. And what is the most valuable lesson you have learned from Toastmasters?
The lesson I've learned from Toastmasters, I have so many lessons learned. I think the first lesson learned is probably recognizing my own leadership style, being the same as what China's regime is all about, authoritative and dictatorship, maybe. It's whether it's benign or not, that was a style that I knew of, and that's probably the only style from top down that I could recognize, because that's how I grew up in, what I grew up in. But by volunteering in the club leadership committee and also watching different members or officers doing their work in a different way, and some inspiring leaders of night vision having a completely different style of the leadership, completely different leadership style compared to mine, but they were equally effective, if not more. So it was the first awakening to myself, that is a discovery journey that make me aware all roads lead to Rome, and I don't have to choose one and only one, and particularly not the one that I know of. So that opens a whole new world of my leadership growth, is being perceptive, being open to different styles, and trying to grab what I consider effective from other people's style, and then use it for my own practice.
How long does it take for you to figure out your leadership style?
Well, I always know my leadership style because it's so obvious. My communication style is very straightforward, and leadership style is also like I would be perceived as authoritative and assertive, confident. And the difference the blind spots, I should define it more properly. The blind spots were the blind spots was the other side of the coin, which now I understand in full, is there's no strength that does not have a weakness on the other side. So not because nothing is perfect, and every choice have an opportunity cost. So if we have one strength, the other side of the coin definitely going to be something that could be considered weakness when situation changed, or when a team you work with changed. So that is a very refreshing discovery, and a serious buy-in that I have now further changed my leadership, and particularly changed my leadership at work. In the past, even if I want to combine or learn from other people's leadership style, it's more from a technical way, is how am I going to achieve the same goal? But the goal itself, the maneuver itself, it's more on theory, on technical aspect, instead of really seeing people. And now I think myself improved. I improved the ability of really seeing people, because it's no longer a judgment. It's no longer judging between my standard and else, whether a personality or a trait is good or bad. It's now only different. So I see people in difference, and I'm more sensitive into matching their strength and help them avoid the damage created by their weakness with the right or appropriate task or appropriate team. So that gives me a much broader horizon of leadership. So that I will use, or I'll help people to utilize their own potential or discover themselves in a different light, instead of always judging myself or other people with the so-called advantageous personality trait or disadvantages or weakness. It's no longer labeled as black and white. It's more pushed into the gray zone that is much wider in the bandwidth. So a lot more things is no longer black and white, good or bad. It's the difference and diversity.
Yeah, and that's very good saying. We are almost toward the end, but there are still some questions I would like to ask. What piece of advice will you give to young Toastmasters like me?
I have one advice that I give to all Toastmasters, despite of experience, particularly maybe the Toastmaster having the early journey of the personal growth. It is lots of Toastmasters came to the club with a specific goal or specific challenge that they want to overcome. For example, stage fright, for example, giving a wedding speech or do a work or personal related presentation. And they probably stay in the past for the 10 speeches of competent communication manual, and for pathway, maybe 1 level, 2 levels, until they overcome the very initial stage fright. And when they feel comfortable, particularly within the same club, they somewhat get content and some just leave, or they started slacking off. I would strongly recommend all Toastmasters to consider finishing the first couple of levels, the end of a start, or of the end of a beginning, not the beginning of the end. Is once you overcome the initial hurdle, your growth just started unveiling for you. Further growth is down the road, and some of my biggest pivotal moment didn't appear to me, didn't start until many years, like at least halfway through my 15 years, because some of the hurdles that we have individually was usually rooted very deep in our upbringing. And the fears, the trauma, the blind spot that we never know we had. And it was so deep, it takes a long time to feel safe and secure, to be vulnerable. And unfortunately, only when we're ready to expose those dark side of ourselves would the growth and breakthrough really happen. Mm-hmm. So lots of people gave up before that moment shines through. And that's a very big pity, because really that communication leadership eventually comes from the internal change, and particularly overcoming the deepest fear that we had.
Yeah, I think I already break through that point.
Mm-hmm. And there are more that you will see, but only when you persist in keep making your effort and keep walking the path, and you would find different turns and twists that helps you discover yourself.
Yeah, that is correct. And then we are coming to our very last question. As one of the founders, what are the things you are most proud of a Unicorn Tribe Toastmaster Club?
I think Unicorn Tribe has started on a very strong footing, particularly the hardwired elements that help the club to hold strong to its initial value, particularly the Toastmasters club mission. At the beginning, I thought it was a little bit of a cliche or almost kind of weird, but the more I see it to be repeated, the more I realize those are the frameworks that help a club to sustain its minimum standard. And we're all volunteers, we're all people from all walks of life, and it's not like a for-profit organization that has a establishment that holds people together. And we need certain discipline to maintain a quality for the upcoming leaderships to come in the future. And because we have maybe different turnover of our membership, many things, the basics, just like a organization or a country's constitution, it needs to be reinforced over and over again so that we always remember why we are here and why we're doing this for, and how we should support each other. So those ones, I think it's unique about Unicorn Tribe, and also member moments creates a continuous testimonial to all the guests and current members, and encourage them to keep making effort in their own personal growth. So a few things I think Unicorn Tribe does uniquely is going to fuel the sustainability of its high quality.
Thank you so much, Jenny, again for joining our podcast today. And it's my pleasure to have you. I hope you have a great one. Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you. Thank you, Sandy. Bye-bye.
Today, it was our pleasure to interview Jenny Chen at our Unicorn podcast. We started this podcast by addressing what attracted her to join Toastmasters in the first place and how Toastmaster changed her life. As a new immigrant to Canada, she felt that the Toastmasters Club could help her feel a sense of belonging to a community and broaden her social circle. Toastmasters not only helped her build her network, but also pushed her out of her comfort zone to take on more challenges to move forward in her life. Throughout her 15 years at Toastmasters, she met many good friends in her personal life from whom she learned a lot. At the same time, she has been able to apply the leadership skills she learned at her club to her workplace. The best thing she experienced at Toastmasters was to understand her leadership style and also to have the opportunities to try on different leadership styles. As a current general manager at work, she has improved on how to lead her employees. At the end, Jenny addressed her message to those who are not yet started their Toastmasters journey. A Toastmasters club is a very safe place for people to show your vulnerable part. Some people can finally show those aspects of them 10 years after joining their club, while others can do so in less than a year. There is no pressure to show it, but after you expose it, you will feel deep relief because Toastmasters is a great community where people are very supportive, encouraging, and inspiring. Be strong and be yourself. Were you inspired by Jenny's story today? Would you like to begin your new chapter and create a new story at Toastmasters? The Unicorn Tribe Toastmaster Club welcomes everyone to visit and join our club. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Meetup, or LinkedIn, and contact us for more details at unicorntribetoastmasters@gmail.com. See you next time.